The incredible Doctor Who saved my life, only to find me on his wedding day. Emily stood outside the grand hall, the waves of laughter crashing against her like the din of expectations buried deep in her heart. She hadn't meant to stumble upon this moment, the isn't it a fairy tale wedding of Dr. Mark Thompson, the man whose kindness pulled her from the brink of despair not too long ago. Her mind raced, her breaths irregular. This sharp reality contrasted the dreams she nourished silently. How could she have let herself believe in a life beyond the diner, beyond the weight of her family's financial burdens? Moments ago, her face had been flushed with pride during her first nursing class presentation. The thrill of helping others ignited a fire inside her, illuminating a pathway she once thought too steep to climb. But standing here, she felt the sharp knife of doubt slice through her resolve. Just a few feet away were glimmering chandeliers and delicate arrangements, the hall adorned with flowers she could never afford. Mark's laughter mingled with that of his friends, the sound a reminder of a world she believed inherently different from her own. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The ceremony felt surreal, like a dream she couldn't wake up from. As Mark stood at the altar, handsome and confidently poised with his stunning fiancée, the anguish of her own insecurity surged within her. It felt unbearable, her heart like a restless drum pounding deafeningly in her chest, a tumult of emotions battling for footing. The feeling of betrayal for wanting him so fiercely gnawed at her. How could she have romantic feelings for the man who had lifted her from that deep abyss of illness, only to have him glide seamlessly into a world far removed from hers? Each laugh that echoed brought bitter reflection. They reminded her of their stolen moments, shared hopes, and whispered dreams under dim diner lights. She clenched her invitation tightly, its edges digging into her palm like a reminder of the division between them. In this crowd of wealth and privilege, she felt both proud of her new life and wretchedly aware of the chasm between them. Desire flooded her senses, waking an ambition she had buried for too long while weighing the implications of their starkly different lives. She fought against the tide of anxiety pushing her backward, longing to scream out what she could feel bubbling beneath the surface. How could she stand here, a mere shadow of the woman Mark believed her to be? And yet, the weight of societal expectations began to sink heavy in her gut as she watched him. Mark, so assured, so perfect in this life designed by the world's hands. The doubt loomed larger than life, a voice whispering that maybe he would never truly see her, never understand the sacrifices that had shaped her. Just outside the hall, at the moments before she would resign herself to becoming merely a ghost of this day, she steeled herself. The brave mask she wore for years cracked as she summoned the courage to confront not just Mark, but the truth she had kept alongside. With one lingering look at the elegance behind her, Emily took a step outside to find him, determined to unlock the feelings she dared to shine light on, all while confronting the paths forged by circumstances they could neither control. The air felt charged, each breath electric with possibility, as she gripped the edge of her dress, finally ready to embrace the truth of her journey. Would this moment forever shift their paths, or was it already too late? Emily's heart hammered in her chest as she stepped outside, leaving behind the glimmering world that had momentarily trapped her. This was her moment, a chance to transform self-doubt into purpose. The bright sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue over the courtyard and illuminating the path ahead. She could see groups of guests mingling, hearty laughter still echoing around the hall. But in that moment, a tightly coiled determination surged within her, pushing her forward. With every step, the weight of her earlier insecurities began to recede, replaced by an electric longing, an ambition she had stifled for too long. Nursing school had kindled something within her, a passion for healing and a desire to rise above her circumstances. She couldn't let this day define her. She wanted to be someone who took control rather than letting life's whims dictate her fate. As Emily's eyes scanned the crowd, a familiar silhouette caught her attention. Mark, standing with a few groomsmen, his laughter breaking through the noise like a beacon. She had once relied on him for a chance at life, but now she had to confront both him and her past. No longer just the girl from the diner, she was more than that. She was on a trajectory towards something greater. Carefully, she stepped toward him, thoughts racing. What would she say? How would he receive her? But she knew that clarity emerged from action. Every truth she uncovered deepened her resolve. She had to be seen, understood, and above all, respected. Not as a shadow of his past, but as a potential partner in the futures they might lead, even if they were separate. As she neared Mark, he turned, his gaze locking onto hers. Something flickered in his eyes, surprise, concern. But before she could decipher his feelings, she felt the tension in the air shift subtly, like a charged current about to spark. "Emily," he said, stepping away from the group, his voice tinged with disbelief as he took a step towards her. "What are you doing here?" The questions danced in her mind. Did he expect her to hide, oblivious to the truth of her feelings and her potential? No, she would not let him dismiss her with confusion or pity. Instead, she straightened, allowing the strength she had cultivated through her nursing studies to infuse her words. "I wanted to speak with you," she said, her voice steady yet vulnerable. "I know today is special for you, but I couldn't just stand by and let this pass without at least trying to talk." Mark's expression softened, and for a fleeting moment, Emily saw the warmth that had sparked their connection long ago. But just as quickly, a shadow crossed his face, and the hurt of contradictory emotions played out behind his eyes. "Emily, I didn't think you would come. Everything has changed, Mark," she interrupted, feeling a mixture of fear and liberation surge through her. "I'm not here to disrupt your life. I'm here to stake my claim on my own. I'm becoming someone I can be proud of, someone who stands tall in her decisions, and I had to see you one last time." With those words, Emily took a step closer, her pulse racing with the gravity of her admission. This wasn't just about Mark. This was about claiming her identity, about confronting her past, and choosing a future filled with agency. Yet even as she spoke, she grappled with the uncertainty of what his reaction would be. Would he see her growth, or would he remain locked in the world of fairy tales she'd briefly stepped into? "Emily, Mark started again, but his words faded as the tension hung palpably between them. In that moment, she realized she was not just confronting him, she was confronting herself, the girl who once believed she was destined to remain beneath the weight of expectations. As their gazes locked, she understood that choices lay before them both, paths leading in different directions. The air hummed with unuttered possibilities, and Emily knew the next words spoken would be pivotal. But what if those words would change everything? What if the roots of their past could unfurl into an unknown future? As Mark opened his mouth to respond, a shiver of anticipation coursed through her. She was ready for either outcome, ready to face whatever lay ahead. The moment had arrived, yet she could feel the world around her pause, holding its breath, each promise of the future dangling precariously in the air. Emily could feel the weight of every moment settling on her shoulders, pressing hard, as if the world had drawn in a collective breath. Mark's eyes shimmered with uncertainty, contributions of their shared history clashing with the present moment. She had taken charge today, but did not mean the emotional turbulence would relent. "Actually," he finally stammered, voice low but edged with urgency, "I didn't expect to see you here, especially not today." His words hung in the air, provoking a storm of conflicting sensations within her. Did he view her as an intruder, an unwelcome reminder of what they had once shared? Or was there a hint of admiration flitting beneath his surprise? Emily brushed her hair back, a nervous gesture. This was about clarity for both of them, not just a fleeting emotion tangled in nostalgia. "With everything that's happened, I needed to come." The strain of her determination coated her voice with a new resolve. "Mark, we can't ignore our history, but I refuse to be defined by it. I want you to see the woman I'm becoming, well beyond that diner, beyond our past." A flicker of realization crossed Mark's face as he searched her eyes. The ghost of their connection hovered between them, tethered by memory, yet rippling with the energy of potential. Yet she sensed his barriers, those walls built over countless silent moments. Could he look beyond what they had shared to acknowledge what she represented now? "What are you saying, Emily?" His brow furrowed, and the cadence of his words took on urgency. "I'm saying I'm moving on," she asserted, finding strength in her voice. "You deserve to know I'm pursuing my dreams, that I've found a path that could lead me somewhere meaningful. But it can't include the shadows of our past if you're not ready to walk alongside me." There, in that moment, she was both terrified and electrified. She wanted him to understand her journey, not only to win his approval, but to liberate herself from the ghost of her former self. Each word she pronounced peeled away layers of her vulnerability. It wasn't just a confrontation, but a reclamation of her story. "Emily, Mark faltered again, caught in a battle of emotion. "No," she interrupted him, sensing the tension building like a storm beyond the horizon. "You don't have to react right now. I'm not asking for anything other than acknowledgement. But I've realized I can only move forward with honesty about who I am today, regardless of what happens next." The path she laid out was multifaceted, ambiguous yet undeniably hers. She recognized some element in herself, a burgeoning voice that was no longer willing to remain silent before him or anyone else. The empowerment she had cultivated in nursing school had blossomed into this pivotal moment of truth-telling. This was pure liberation. They stood there, fingers brushing against the edges of their history, yet suspended in an uncertain present, marked by the past's shadows and future's light. A sudden urge flickered like lightning. She could either pull away or give it all at once. Their choices tangled together in an intricate dance of connection, where fear mingled with courage. And within that charged moment, Emily felt the undercurrents of their relationship swirl dangerously. What if she was not just extending her growth, but revealing something crucial about Mark as well? This encounter might be more than just an epilogue of her own story. As she stared into his eyes, a dawning realization illuminated her thoughts, igniting possibilities she hadn't fully comprehended yet. Every assumption they had made about each other in the past could either hold them prisoner or become a launch pad for something new. "Emily," he finally said, and the weight of his voice reverberated through her, anchoring every cascade of emotions swirling within. Her heart raced again. This was the moment she had envisioned and dreaded simultaneously. "What happens next," he paused, swallowing hard, "is exploring what this all means for us." In that instant, everything shifted. The uncertainty that had once paralyzed her now stirred excitement. But as she anticipated the truth he was about to unveil, a distant voice pierced through their revelry, reminding her that not every confrontation leads to clarity. They weren't alone, and the day was still unfolding with a complexity neither had foreseen. As she caught sight of a figure moving toward them, an unfamiliar face embedded in familiarity, a wave of anxiety washed over her. What if new questions awaited them on the threshold, ones that could potentially unravel everything she'd begun to define? The figure approached with deliberate steps, the sun illuminating a familiar silhouette that sent a current of apprehension through Emily. Even as she tried to center herself, the ebb and flow of her emotions felt like a race against time, each heartbeat a reminder of everything at stake. She turned her focus back to Mark, whose expression now mirrored her own turmoil. As the newcomer drew closer, Emily shifted her stance, refusing to cower in the face of uncertainty. Today was not just a moment to confront her past, it was about shaping her future. Her dreams were no longer buried under hesitation or regret. She had found a voice, a purpose, and she wasn't going to let it falter so easily. The newcomer, Sean, was a fellow nurse who had recently taken the lead on a project that Emily had hoped to spearhead. She could see his brow furrowing in recognition. It was an irony not lost on her. A man who once felt like an ally now stood as a potential obstacle. "Emily," Sean's voice cut through the air, and she could hear the enthusiasm tinged with surprise. "I didn't know you were back in town. I should have thought to reach out. What timing?" "Yeah, well, timing is everything, I guess," she replied, the edge in her tone caused by indignation she scarcely understood herself. Was this mere coincidence, or had he come here specifically? Mark's presence beside her felt like an anchor pulling her in conflicting directions. The past was still ripe with unresolved feelings, and here stood Sean, an embodiment of challenges she hadn't anticipated. "I'm actually in the middle of something," she said, forcing a smile to maintain. "We were just talking about the hospital's upcoming initiatives." "Right." Sean's enthusiasm dimmed a little as he pieced together their conversation. "But are you involved? I thought you were focusing on other things." His tone was questioning, probing, a spotlight on her choices that felt invasive. Here she was, vibrating with purpose, thwarted by a single query. "I am focusing on other things. That's part of why I came back," she declared, steadying her voice. It was her opportunity to assert her evolution, to dismantle the assumptions that tried to box her in. This was not about Sean's expectation, it was about her own narrative. They were tense, the air thick with an unspoken agreement that no one would back down. Sean shifted his weight, uncertain how to proceed, but Emily felt invigorated. With every gaze exchanged between her and Mark, she found strength in her definition of success, not as an extension of someone else's expectations, but as a manifestation of her own desires. "What I'm pursuing now isn't just about what's familiar or comfortable. It's about expanding horizons," Emily asserted, her voice lifting with confidence. "I want to grow professionally and bring something new to the team, to the work we do. I refuse to limit that based on past relationships, friends or otherwise." Sean's expression morphed, and she could see recognition dawning, a subtle shift from challenge to acknowledgement. Mark's eyes reflected a similar transformation, a flicker of respect growing amid their shared history. Could he understand that her growth would always bend toward her authenticity, with or without him? Sean cut through the moment. "Well, I'm glad to hear that. You have a lot to offer. I mean that. We should definitely discuss how you could fit into our team moving forward." Each word was an invitation, but Emily recognized the duality within it, a path to collaboration or yet another tie to past constraints. An internal tug of war began, battling her reluctance to embrace both their offers and the unsettling tension brewing underneath. Could she really step forward without losing parts of herself? Or were these encounters moving her closer to a vital realization about herself? Before she could respond, Mark stepped closer, intrigued, perhaps ready to find clarity himself. "Emily, I think," he began, but before he could finish, a sense of urgency pulled her attention. This pivotal moment, just like their previous conversations, was about unlocking doors, both inside and outside of herself. Yet in doing so, it also meant facing latent rivalries, fears of inadequacy, and the continuous evolution of their intertwined paths. "Wait," she interjected, feeling the weight of anticipation prickling her skin. "What if confronting one challenge leads us deeper into a more complex reality? What if we're not ready for the answers we seek?" The air thickened again, laden with acknowledgement that lingered on the brink of impending revelation. Mark shifted in response, uncertainty crossing his face, a flicker of understanding dawning in him, as Sean watched with curiosity. In that charged atmosphere, Emily questioned what it meant to step fully into her power amidst a landscape littered with expectations and fears, hidden desires and potential betrayals. Maybe, she mused aloud, urging herself toward a tipping point, it's time to redefine not only who I am, but who I am willing to engage with going forward. As Sean nodded, acceptance flooding his features, Mark's gaze drifted to the ground, lost in thought. The air trembled with anticipation for their next steps. What would that become when they finally broke down barriers for good? With an unfamiliar thrill coursing through her, Emily recognized that the real journey was just beginning. And as they stood on the precipice of revelation, everything she thought she understood shattered. But she realized that to flourish, she would have to face her most profound fears head-on, ushering in the unknown. What if we're all on the brink of discovering something extraordinary, just out of reach? The words hung between them, an invitation into an unpredictable future. Emily could feel the weight of the moment pressing down, the flickering tension reverberating around them like an unplayed chord. The anticipation of what was to come energized her, igniting her resolve to confront not only the uncertainty of her present circumstances, but also the lingering doubts about her worth. She ranged from challenging Sean to seize the opportunity to redefine her professional identity, simultaneously wrestling with her fears. Mark's silence hung heavily, unease mixing with the charged air. It was as if both men sensed the shifting dynamics that would reshape their connections. What stood before them was not just a reunion of past comrades, but a crossroads, an invitation for a deeper understanding of who they all were beneath the weight of expectations. Emily took a breath, anchoring herself in her purpose. "You both have been a part of my journey for a long time," she began, her voice steady. "But today, I'm not seeking validation. I'm seeking collaboration, not competition." The words flowed out, unfiltered by the constraints her past imposed. Sean's brows knitted as he absorbed her declaration. "That's fair, Emily. I didn't intend." "Everyone has a role to play," she interrupted, not wanting to allow doubt to deflect her focus. "And I've decided mine will not be limited to who you think I am or who I used to be. I'm here for a reason." Mark shifted beside her, tension easing slightly, as if he too were reconsidering his place in this evolving narrative. What stood before them was not just a reunion of past comrades, but a crossroads, an invitation for a deeper understanding of who they all were beneath the weight of expectations. Emily took a breath, anchoring herself in her purpose. "You both have been a part of my journey for a long time," she began, her voice steady. "But today, I'm not seeking validation. I'm seeking collaboration, not competition." The words flowed out, unfiltered by the constraints her past imposed. Sean's brows knitted as he absorbed her declaration. "That's fair, Emily. I didn't intend." "Everyone has a role to play," she interrupted, not wanting to allow doubt to deflect her focus. "And I've decided mine will not be limited to who you think I am or who I used to be. I'm here for a reason." Mark shifted beside her, tension easing slightly, as if he too were reconsidering his place in this evolving narrative. Hurdles were being cleared, and a sense of potential emerged, driving Emily to expand further. "We all want what's best for the hospital and our patients. Our experiences have shaped us differently, and that diversity is our strength. I am capable of contributions that reflect my growth." Finally, Sean nodded, an acknowledgement that felt genuine. "I get that, but can you lay out what you envision? What are you thinking?" Emily felt the prompt tangibly release a wave of creativity. "I propose we start a mentorship program, integrate both seasoned nurses and newer staff. Fostering growth collectively can reinvigorate our team, reshape perspectives, and ensure we're continuously evolving." Mark's eyes widened, a spark igniting in him. She could read the excitement building in his thoughts, his mind racing to formulate a response. "That's an excellent idea. We could really attract talent. I've seen hospitals struggling with retention issues. Something like this could be a game changer for us." The atmosphere had shifted again, morphing from rivalry to collaboration. Emily's course felt fortified. She wasn't just checking boxes on a career path, she was writing her own strategy, propelled by her renewed agency. Yet amid this forward momentum, remnants of doubt still clawed at her. "What if I'm just trying to fill the shoes of what was expected?" she mused aloud, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if this doesn't pan out?" Mark's gaze caught hers, a steadiness emerging in the uncertainty. "This isn't about filling shoes, Emily. This is about carving out your own space. Look at the way you're collaborating now. It's different." She nodded, desire simmering to the surface. The fear of inadequacy swung back, reminding her of the tightrope walk she had begun. What if her ambitions collided with the crippling force of previous failures? But she had already been redefining failure, seen through the lens of growth. "Now that we're on this path, I believe we can truly revitalize how we approach care in our unit. We're capable of building something remarkable together." The words flowed, each syllable uprooting hesitation, replanting smaller seeds of confidence in their place. Yet, even as the vision for a new beginning painted itself vividly in her mind, another impending challenge loomed: the realities of executing these plans. Did she have enough support? How could she integrate herself fully? As these swirling thoughts merged into a coherent stream, Sean broke the spell. "So, when do we start?" But Emily caught a fleeting glimpse of Mark's expression. Uncertainty had settled back again. Was he truly committed to this potential collaboration, or would past insecurities resurface and threaten the momentum they had built together? Before Emily could respond, she felt a rush of urgency. "What if we lost sight of ourselves again amid all this change?" she abruptly asked, threading her voice with tension. "Can we maintain our authenticity as we grow, or is it a risk we're willing to take to pursue transformation?" The room fell into a suffocating silence, while the three of them stood poised at the edge of a shared journey, the stakes suddenly echoing louder than before. Emily took in the faces around her, each cloaked in shadows of possibility and uncertainty. The moment became charged with potential, yet precarious, a delicate balance of hope and fear that could either venture toward a promising collaboration or plunge back into the depths of insecurity. But within that uncertainty blooming ahead of her, Emily recognized the precipice of profound self-discovery. "Perhaps," she finally asserted, "it's in this unknown ground that we may uncover not only our paths forward, but our truths." Her heart raced, a potent blend of thrill and trepidation, as she came to understand this was merely the beginning of a transformative odyssey. What awaited her in the depths of change felt immense, and the journey was fraught with uncharted challenges on the horizon. But as she stood with Sean and Mark, she wondered whether facing them head-on could lead her not to mere survival, but to the extraordinary, pushing her boundaries toward a future that sparked with possibility. What lay just beyond the horizon felt exhilaratingly enticing, a final push that would test them all. "Are we ready to leap into that unknown?" she breathed, as the silence hung pregnant with unanswered questions, stifling yet crackling with potential. The air hung thick with unspoken words as Sean, Mark, and Emily remained tethered to that moment, caught between anticipation and vulnerability. The prospect of embarking on this ambitious mentorship program stirred a sense of urgency within her, a quiet roar echoing the deeper truth nestled in her hesitations. "Well, what's next?" Sean broke the silence, urgency now his tone. Emily felt the shift in the atmosphere. She was piloting this ship, and her instinct battled with doubt. "We need a solid plan to present to the board. They're not going to embrace change without seeing metrics, success stories, something to anchor their approval." Mark, always the pragmatist, nodded in agreement. "Let's brainstorm what we need, a framework that outlines goals, expected outcomes, maybe some pilot programs to test our theories." Enthusiasm pulsed in his words again, and she leaned into it, sensing the opportunity for collaboration blooming once more. With their focus redirected, Emily felt a fire flare within her, a determination to propel their mission into reality. Yet she subtly wrestled with the shadow of her insecurities, the voice that whispered of her past failures. She couldn't let that voice drown out their momentum. This was a new narrative waiting to be penned. "Let's set a timeline," Emily suggested, her mind racing as she envisioned the weeks ahead. "We can gather feedback along the way, iterate the program based on real input. I can do some research and prioritize what's most effective in mentorship models." Enthusiasm pulsed in his words again, and she leaned into it, sensing the opportunity for collaboration blooming once more. With their focus redirected, Emily felt a fire flare within her, a determination to propel their mission into reality. Yet she subtly wrestled with the shadow of her insecurities, the voice that whispered of her past failures. She couldn't let that voice drown out their momentum. This was a new narrative waiting to be penned. "Let's set a timeline," Emily suggested, her mind racing as she envisioned the weeks ahead. "We can gather feedback along the way, iterate the program based on real input. I can do some research and prioritize what's most effective in mentorship models." Sean's gaze brightened, a renewed sense of purpose igniting behind his stare. "I can help. I've got a few contacts in educational development. We could tap into existing resources." Despite the support blossoming in this conversation, doubts flickered at the fringes of Emily's mind. They needed to touch base with staff, identify concerns, and build trust. Fear of their reactions nagged at her. What if she was met with skepticism? Could she truly lead this charge? "Right," Mark interjected. "We need to communicate the benefits to the staff. If they don't see the value, there won't be any buy-in." "Exactly. But I want to make sure we're being transparent," Emily added. "We're not looking to undermine anyone's expertise. We're trying to foster an environment where knowledge flows in all directions." Holding their ideas together made Emily contemplate her role anew. It wasn't just about conducting meetings or outlining a structure. It was about fostering a culture of openness, encouraging nurses who had kept their insights hidden out of fear or complacency to step forward and share. A surge of confidence flooded her as she envisioned that culture, an environment where mentorship was a two-way street, where she and her colleagues grew through shared experiences. Embers of each person's unique journey could forge an unbreakable bond, strengthening their unit as a cohesive force. Mark broke her reverie, his voice steady amidst her racing thoughts. "Let's meet again on Friday. We can prepare a draft plan and assign roles based on our individual strengths." "Good idea," Emily articulated, feeling the pull of teamwork tightening into cohesive purpose. "We'll make sure each of us leads a section of the proposal, aligning our diverse skills to build something greater." As the conversation began to settle into a delineated focus, Emily's heart raced with the potential of what they could accomplish. She had already begun transforming her doubts into strategies, revealing herself as not just a nurse, but a catalyst for change. Yet the specter of uncertainty still loomed, flickers of past failures reminding her that taking risks could lead to painful rediscoveries. The fear of exposure gnawed at her, invoking memories of when vulnerability felt like a weakness, not the source of strength it could become. This transition, though, wasn't simply a chance to shine. It felt like a call to prove that her journey had indeed been one of profound transformation. "We need to ensure we have a support system in place before we launch," she said, feeling herself return to solid ground. "And if there's opposition, we must be prepared to address it head-on." The trio exchanged purposeful glances, a pact forming in their silent agreement to confront whatever came next together. As the meeting wound down, the weight of unanswered questions still hung around Emily. Would their plan resonate beyond the walls of this room? Could she truly lead this charge, despite the unpredictability of their colleagues' responses? In that moment, she felt both energized and terrified, standing at the brink of something significant. The only certainty was that she was no longer just an observer in her career. She was an active participant, ready to push boundaries. But as Emily packed her notes, a new worry snaked through her thoughts. What if this collaborative vision fell apart when faced with the reality of resistance? She looked up at Sean and Mark, both lost in their own thoughts, and wondered, would the strength of their partnership withstand the trials ahead? Just as the doorway loomed ahead, heavy with implications, she realized she was about to leap into the unknown. An adventure wrapped in uncertainty, but brimming with possibilities. Her heart raced with the anticipation of it all. What would they encounter next? Would their reality reflect the dream they dared to pursue? Forge together, or would it unravel, testing the very fabric of their newfound alliance? As Friday edged closer, Emily found herself tangled in a heightened sense of purpose mixed with anxiety. Each day blurred into the next as she researched mentorship frameworks late into the night, her mind a whirlwind of ideas. She envisioned the meeting with Sean and Mark as one of pivotal importance, not just for their proposal, but for her own emerging confidence as a leader. The day arrived, crisp and promising. Emily sat in the conference room, notes spread before her like a canvas awaiting paint. With each passing minute, anticipation collected like storm clouds. Would they be able to articulate their shared vision effectively? Would her colleagues embrace the change they were proposing, or would it meet the wailing winds of skepticism? Mark arrived first, his demeanor a mixture of excitement and understated gravity. He rifled through his notepad, scanning pages filled with data points and insights from mentorship programs he'd learned about. "Are you ready for this?" he asked, sincerity laced in his tone. "More than ready," Emily replied, hiding the twinge of self-doubt threatening to manifest. Each encounter with him acted like a lighthouse, illuminating her path through uncertainty. Just then, Sean burst through the door, his energy infectious. "I talked to my contacts last night. They loved our initial concept," he said, his enthusiasm more contagious than any virus could ever be. "They offered to provide us with resources, maybe even expert guidance. This could take us to the next level." The prospects buoyed Emily's spirits, but the undercurrents of her insecurities bubbled closer to the surface. "That's amazing," she said, forcing a smile despite the inner turmoil. We need to ensure we're leveraging those resources to address our staff's concerns, though. As they began to draft their proposal, the room filled with a sense of urgency to encapsulate their dreams into measurable goals. Mark's previous experience in education became an anchor, providing her with insights into how to present tangible benefits that could win over the board. But as they sifted through potential metrics, something within Emily shifted. She felt less like a participant and more like the driving force behind their mission. By weaving her belief in mutual learning into their framework, she could create a palpable sense of ownership among the staff. Wouldn't they be more invested if they had input on the mentorship program structure? A sudden flash of clarity hit her. What if we include a feedback mechanism in our program, where both mentors and mentees share their experiences periodically? It could transform our environment into one of continuous growth. Mark and Sean exchanged a glance that both puzzled and excited her. "That's brilliant," Sean replied, the sincerity behind his voice propelling her confidence even higher. As ideas fell into place under Emily's guidance, her joy was abruptly overshadowed by a gnawing fear. What if this approach, feeding off vulnerability, became an avenue for resentment instead? Opening up channels of communication exposed fundamental disagreements that could fracture their already fragile trust with their colleagues. Unbeknownst to her, those very fears were echoed in the faces of her teammates. Mark's brow had creased with concern, while Sean scribbled notes, a dappled look of uncertainty contrasting his earlier enthusiasm. "Let's not lose sight of the potential fallout," Mark finally said, reining in the buoyant atmosphere. "If staff sees vulnerability as simply another task or responsibility, it might lead to pushback instead of support." Emily's heart sank at the prospect. They were treading into murky waters, each wave threatening to pull them further from their goal. Was she prepared to face that potential backlash? The thought of being met with resistance terrified her, yet the idea of retreating now felt like surrendering the progress she'd painstakingly cultivated. "Guys, remember, we're not here to create another task," Emily said firmly, standing to grasp the whiteboard marker. "We're presenting an evolution in how we approach growth. I believe in this vision. Change starts with vulnerability. If we can't embrace it ourselves, how can we expect anyone else to?" With her declaration, a collective quiet fell over the room. The tension swelled, palpable but not suffocating, as they locked eyes in a moment of shared acknowledgement. Being vulnerable would mean confronting not just their colleagues, but their own fears of inadequacy. Could they really engage with the risks involved, or would they retreat to familiar territories when faced with dissent? As they pushed forward, a quiet resolve formed in her chest. Emily realized stepping into her leadership role meant not only advocating for change, but also bracing for potential upheaval. The meeting concluded, but doubt still lurked in the shadows of her mind. Would their proposal be enough to withstand the trial by fire they were about to face? As they wrapped everything up, the clock turned ominously towards their presentation. A convergence of excitement and dread filled her as reality settled. They were about to confront the uncertainties of their colleagues' reactions head-on. A wave of breathlessness washed over her. She was no longer a pawn in her career, but a formidable player ready to wield her voice. What would become of their shared vision when it collided with the realities beyond the confines of this conference room? The threshold to the unknown came rushing at her, and with it, the grit of her resolve began to harden. In the simmering stillness, a singular thought crystallized. The time had come to face the critics and embrace whatever lay ahead. Emily clenched the marker tightly and directed her gaze to her colleagues with an unshakable intensity. "Let's show them what we've got." The presentation day loomed like a colossus, and Emily felt every nervous heartthrob marking the seconds leading up to their moment in the spotlight. The atmosphere buzzed with an unyielding weight as her colleagues filed into the conference room, each face a mirror reflecting the collective anticipation and tension that hung heavily in the air. As she took her position in front of the audience, Emily's mind flickered with memories of late nights spent poring over mentorship frameworks. That once cacophonous whirlwind of ideas transformed into a compelling narrative she now had to convey. The challenge intensified the stakes. This was not just a proposal, it symbolized her evolution in asserting herself as a leader, a bridge from uncertainty to unyielding confidence. Mark stood by her side, his unwavering presence a reassuring constant amid her roiling thoughts. "We've got this," he whispered, adding a bit of warmth to their juxtaposition of minds built around metrics and visions. The lights dimmed slightly, signaling the start. Emily stepped forward, inhaling deeply to ground herself. The room quieted, and she began to speak. "Today, we are not just here to present a mentorship proposal. We're here to envision a transformative path for our organization." Her voice trembled at the outset, but steadily gained strength, fueled by the fire she felt within. As she outlined their plans, Sean took the reins to elaborate on the potential impact of a structured feedback system. The team rallied together, bouncing ideas off one another. Emily could see the spark revive in Mark, who shared real statistics showcasing the improvements of similar programs elsewhere. Each point cascaded into the next, building upon their initial conversations, transforming doubt into palpable excitement. Yet a small voice in the back of her mind echoed persistent apprehensions. What if their enthusiasm was met with cynicism? As she scanned the audience, she could see a range of expressions flitting by: curiosity, skepticism, even indifference. Was she ready for confrontation? Could vulnerability truly foster strength in such a climate? Only time would reveal the answer. When Emily completed her segment, applause echoed through the conference room, but it felt distant, like a mirage shimmering at the edge of a dry desert. She accepted the validation with a muted smile, caught in reflection. Was it genuine interest or merely politeness? The applause rang hollow against her uncertain heart. Suddenly, a voice pierced through her momentary haze. Jackson, a senior colleague known for his sharp critiques, stood with arms crossed. "With all due respect, are we ready to expose ourselves to our teams like this? Vulnerability is a unique strength only if your team views it that way. Many may see it as weakness." Her stomach twisted. The room shifted into a tight spotlight on her, waiting for a counterargument. Emily could feel her courage draining, but beneath the anxiety was a flicker of resolve she had never tapped into before. She stepped forward, pulling the audience's attention closer, as if they were all hanging on the precipice of a very personal revelation. "With vulnerability comes honesty," she said. "Facilitating a mentorship program means embracing imperfection, and I believe it's through shared experiences that we can cultivate a more cohesive unit. Are we not stronger together in our realizations, in our struggles?" Her words hung heavily, daring her colleagues to reflect. Jackson opened his mouth, the flicker of challenge still present, but then he paused, as if weighing her words against his own perspectives. In that brief moment, Emily's heart surged with a profound sense of purpose. This was no longer about a mere program. It was about positioning herself as a beacon amidst criticism and uncertainty, standing firm in her beliefs and inviting others to do the same. The dialogue that followed prompted others to weigh in, engaging with new ideas and counterarguments. It became crystal clear that the real work was not just in proposing change, but in navigating the inevitable pushback. Emily had provoked thoughts, but now had to stay grounded against the tides of dissent. As the discussion unfolded, Emily found herself enjoying the complexity of the conversation. She realized she thrived here, in the midst of disagreement and uncertainty. They debated, dissected, and delved deeper into the ideas presented, and her confidence climbed. After the meeting, she gathered with Mark and Sean, their camaraderie now fortified through shared vulnerability and conflict. Even if we've planted seeds of doubt, at least now they're initiating dialogue. That's powerful, Emily remarked, surprise flooding her at how resilient her voice had become. But as they exited, the gnawing worry returned. Would they be able to cultivate the same kind of dialogue with their broader teams? What if their colleagues weren't ready for this level of openness? The day's achievements polished her confidence, but shadowed uncertainties lingered. What awaited her on the other side when they actively sought that conversation with their staff? Would they walk into the vulnerable depths she had just navigated, or would they retreat into familiar patterns of resistance? The weight of the moment loomed as they approached the office doors, each step echoing with the potential for profound change, if only they had the audacity to embrace it. It became clear this was only the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead. The days following the presentation unraveled with both promise and trepidation. Emily watched the aftermath of their meeting unfold, noting the ripple effect of their discussions. Colleagues who had remained silent during the presentation were starting to engage in the concept of mentorship, some even approaching her for their interpretations of vulnerability and excellence. Yet that same voice of doubt whispered to her. The vision for cultivating a culture of openness often felt drained by the realities of office politics. Each conversation seemed to demand the same energy, one she wasn't sure she could sustain. As she settled at her desk, ready to draft an email to the team, her mind muddled through unanswered questions. Would her colleagues truly embrace her vision, or was this just a temporary flicker of interest? That evening, Emily attended a networking event held by a prominent industry leader. It was a chance to broaden her connections, but beneath her polished facade lay a storm of apprehension. Her thoughts drifted toward Jackson's critique, circulating endlessly. How could she lead when her confidence still felt precarious? Surrounded by an array of accomplished voices, Emily felt small as she stood clutching her drink, scanning the room. She ventured into small talk, exchanging pleasantries while holding back the urge to dive into her newfound enthusiasm for mentorship. Standing there, it struck her. She not only held the potential to reshape her team, but also to influence the larger community. With that thought, the air around her shifted, swelling with anticipation. Suddenly, she wasn't seeking validation, she was projecting it. Gripping her drink tighter, she maneuvered through the crowd, eventually pausing near a cluster of peers engaged in conversation about leadership strategies. Emily sensed her chance. Has anyone here considered the impact of mentorship in fostering creativity? She interjected, her voice steadier than she felt. Instantly, the group turned to her, eyes glinting with curiosity. She pressed on, invigorated by her own words. Open dialogues can bolster our connection and innovation. The discussion shifted, her confidence building as she shared strategies about creating safe spaces within teams. Yet, a lingering dread haunted her, a fear of miscommunication, of misunderstanding. But are we willing to confront the inevitable pushback? She mused aloud, somewhat vulnerable. Navigating resistance could be the most crucial phase in this journey. As her point landed, the group leaned in, recognizing the undercurrents of her inquiry. Their responses prompted further dialogue, and she could feel her perspective shifting as they began to grapple with opposing views. With every exchange, she was learning, adapting, and challenging herself to delve deeper into the complexities of leadership. At the end of the night, Emily found herself walking away with several contacts, but more importantly, a new sense of agency. The conversations had equipped her with insights that initiated another sanctum of thought. She was not just communicating theories, she was gathering experiences that enriched her understanding of influence and resistance. Arriving home, however, the solace quickly turned to contemplation. She began to question whether her colleagues would truly reciprocate these insights when faced with their biases. The next phase of her journey beckoned. How could they foster the same level of innovation and openness with their teams? What strategies would she impart to help them navigate their own insecurities? The drive to understand these intricacies ignited a fervor within her. Emily realized that her challenge was not merely to propose a program. It was about building a framework capable of withstanding scrutiny and fostering resilience. It would require more than just dialogue. It would call for action. Sitting at her desk late into the night, she drafted an outline for a team workshop aimed at promoting mentorship and vulnerability. The weight of responsibility rested on her shoulders, each word harnessing potential energy for the future she envisioned. But with that came the haunting realization that bringing others into the fold would require confronting their false perceptions and innate fears head-on. As she settled for the night, exhaustion mingling with excitement, the stakes began to sharpen. Would her colleagues rise to the occasion, or would they waste this moment of inspiration? How would she empower them to embrace discomfort rather than shrink away? With those questions swirling, Emily understood that this venture would not only test her capabilities as a leader, but also define her journey in ways she had yet to comprehend. The path ahead was lined with challenges, scars of vulnerability yet to be revealed. It wasn't about merely presenting ideas, it was about instilling courage. Tomorrow, she would invite her team into the conversation. The moment of truth was fast approaching. Would they be ready to confront their own insecurities? Would they walk willingly into the vulnerability she had just started to embrace? The morning sun streamed through the window, illuminating Emily's workspace. Today was different. Today marked a pivotal shift. Armed with her workshop outline, she felt the rush of emotion flow through her. It was exhilarating, the anticipation and trepidation blending seamlessly, fueling her determination. She knew her colleagues were navigating their own insecurities, but she was ready to challenge them to evolve. As they gathered in the conference room, an undercurrent of energy crackled in the air, palpable yet unspoken. Today was about transformation, not just for Emily, but for every individual present. With poised confidence, she stepped forward, anchoring her thoughts in the purpose that had blossomed over recent months. "Thank you all for being here," she began, looking around the room, meeting the eyes of each of her colleagues. "Today, we will embark on a journey to redefine mentorship and vulnerability, two components that can significantly enhance our teamwork and patient care." The words resonated deeply, evoking glimmers of interest from her audience. As she transitioned into the workshop, Emily created a space for open dialogue, inviting thoughts and fears to surface. "What does mentorship mean to you?" she probed, watching as hands lifted, hesitant but eager. Responses varied, revealing insights into colleagues' experiences. Together, they peeled back the layers of fear and vulnerability, unearthing shared struggles and aspirations. Hours passed, weaving together dialogues that delved into the complexities of vulnerability. They confronted the notion that seeking aid was a sign of weakness, reframing it as a hallmark of strength. Emily's voice guided them, but it was the collective energy of the room that ignited transformative sparks. An unexpected moment captured everyone's attention. A nurse named Linda, visibly shaken, spoke up. "I've been afraid to ask for help, thinking I'd be seen as less competent." This realization is eye-opening. The entire room erupted in supportive nods, a unified recognition that they had all grappled with similar fears, a powerful reminder of their shared humanity. It was in that moment that Emily truly understood the depth of influence vulnerability could wield. The workshop closed with a renewed sense of purpose, a bond forged in honesty and understanding. Looking around the room, Emily felt pride swell within her. Not only had she led this initiative, she had cultivated a culture of openness. Her teammates were no longer just colleagues. They were allies committed to navigating the complex landscape of healthcare together. In the days that followed, conversations flourished. Colleagues who once barely exchanged pleasantries now collaborated, inviting richer perspectives into their daily routines. Emily's initiative began to bear fruit. Engagement soared, signaling a paradigm shift within their unit. The board meeting on their mentorship program approached, and with it arrived fresh anxiety, but also excitement. Emily stood alongside Mark and Sean, feeling the weight of their proposal settle around her shoulders like armor. Today, we present not just a plan, but a promise to our colleagues and patients, she articulated confidently, her voice steady as the moment echoed with significance. Mark's statistics demonstrated clear benefits of mentorship in retaining staff and enhancing patient care. Sean's narratives painted the human side of their initiative, grounding their proposal in genuine experiences. Each member of the board listened intently, and for the first time, Emily felt a rising belief that they would not only accept but embrace their vision. As their proposal concluded, applause erupted, a palpable wave of approval sweeping over them. The board recognized not just the content, but the passion infused into their narrative. It dawned on Emily that she had journeyed beyond confrontation. She had masterminded commitment to a transformative collaboration. Their stark reality as mere employees of the hospital had rejuvenated into dedication toward a common cause, a unifying vision reaching to the core of their profession. Walking away from that meeting, she felt an overwhelming surge of satisfaction, validation mixed with exhilaration. Transformation was not merely a theme of their proposal, it had become a lived experience. With each conversation sparked in the aftermath, Emily felt the echoes of change reverberate through her. Weeks passed, and the mentorship program launched successfully. Metrics soared, staff engagement bloomed, and Emily's personal achievement manifested in community recognition. They carved a unique space in their professional identity, factoring their vulnerabilities into the very fabric of their culture, a recognition that echoed far beyond the health sector. Emily reflected on her journey, the depth of transformation palpable within her. She was no longer overshadowed by insecurities. She had proven herself, gained confidence, and established her position. More than a nurse from a diner, but a leader advocating change. As she sat quietly one evening outside a cafe where she'd often dreamed, a flicker of recognition crossed her mind. She had arrived, truly arrived, at a place where she could effect change, not just for herself, but for everyone around her. This was her achievement, a glorious culmination of vulnerability embraced, empowering leadership embraced, and commitment realized. You need to subscribe now to this channel to not miss the next exclusive emotional stories that inspire transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for the messages of personal growth. Comment your reactions and theories about this journey as it unfolds. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to uplift those around you.